Washington Commanders unofficially have sold the team. Dan and Tanya Snyder have reached pretty much it's called a preliminary deal, a non-exclusive agreement, which other people who put a bid in can still maybe swoop in and steal it, to sell the Washington Commanders for $6.05 billion, which will be a record for a franchise sold in the whole world, not America, but the whole world. I think that we forget um, how large and how big football is when we think about soccer. There's so many soccer leagues, but only a few of them are making money when it's compared to the NBA, MLB, and then mainly the NFL, who has the most in the top 10 most expensive franchises in the whole world. So Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment, who owns the 76ers as well as the New Jersey Devils, and they also own part of the Crystal Palace FC of the English Premier League, they pretty much put the bid in. Now, Harris did grow up in Bethesda. He's a co-founder of Apollo Management, an asset management firm. His net worth is $5.4 billion. And then he paired with Mitchell Rallis, who's also a billionaire, and Magic Johnson. And Rallis has a net worth of $5.5 billion according to Forbes. So what does that mean? Pretty much a non-exclusive deal is fully financed, but it hasn't been signed. Meaning other groups could still come in and buy the team. Any deal that isn't anybody has to be like submitted to the league. So this deal that's submitted to the NFL, it has to be confirmed by pretty much a committee. Now, they say it probably won't get improved until the scheduled meetings, the finance meetings on May 22nd to 24th in Minneapolis. So the NFL has a 8-member finance committee that will examine the documents and then put a vote of the other 31 team owners. The NFL is familiar with Harris because he actually put a bid in to buy the Broncos last summer before the Waldron Group won out. So pretty much Walmart bought the Broncos. Interesting because you can tell that Harris wanted to get a league, get a franchise. It's probably not the easiest job, but it's probably one of when you're a billionaire, probably one of the easiest jobs to make money to do less, not really do anything, without becoming a chairman or on an executive board. It's fun. You look at some of these owners, they like Steve Ballmer is at almost every Clippers game, giving it his all. But there's also a good, I think, and this is why I think it's important. The Washington Commanders franchise is worth more than $6.05 billion. It is in the heart of a city that stays strong during economical times. They have not done the best to treat their players. Believe it or not, the Washington Commanders facility was rated last when it comes to facilities across the league. They don't even have a legit indoor facility. They do have a bubble, but they don't have a legit indoor facility really. There's so much that can be done with this Commanders team. So they practice in Ashburn, Virginia, which it's like I live in Ashburn, Virginia, so I see the Washington Commanders all the time. Playing, practicing, or whatever, but also just the facilities right there, and then they live in the community I live in. It's the wealthiest county in America. Loudoun County is the wealthiest county in America. So, but to have the facilities that are that weak is interesting. Now, they play in Landover. So they play all the way on the other side of the Beltway. So if you look, the Washington Commanders, where they practice and live is in a nice area, but what they play is actually in Maryland. They used to play in RFK, which was in D.C. They haven't torn it down yet. I ideally think that they should move the stadium back to D.C. And there were some talks about moving to Richmond and whatever. That doesn't make any sense. You want it to be in D.C. I think that's what Snyder was talking about, to get more exposure in this southern Virginia area. But I really think that this franchise right now it's undersold because that's what the market value. People are marketing it at when it comes to the value compared to other franchises. But I think within a couple years, and here's the thing. Snyder could have done better by upgrading the facilities, and he could have maybe snuck past this if he upgraded the facilities and wasn't too cheap. I think he was too cheap, and that's the main reason he was out. Because when they came out with that report as far as Washington Commanders having the worst facilities, yeah, you look at College Park, Maryland Terrace, the largest university close to it, that has a big sports team. Their facilities are are better than Washington Commanders facilities. So I think that that's something that's going to have to change. That's going to have to help these players want to come to Washington and play, and be in the hotbed of just comfortable living, access, convenient. So I think that the 76ers have done well. The Jersey Devils have done well. I think that Harrison and Mitch are going to come in and run things the right way. And Magic Johnson being part of it as well, having some big names goes a long way as well too. So I, I'm I really don't care if Daniel Snyder's gone or not. I'm not a Washington Commanders fan. I don't think he was the problem. I think that the Washington fans, being so impatient and just thinking Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz, Taylor Heineke were the answer. That was the big problem, and they pretty much they faced their consequences of after doing RG3 so dirty and Don McNabb so dirty, and just putting faith in Kirk Cousins, who we still see is probably the worst fourth quarter quarterback in the NFL, who can't win a game. So it'll be interesting to see, and I'm excited for the Commanders. I grew up around the Beltway, so I've always had a sense to root for the home team, and I want to see the Commanders do well, and I hope this is a turn for the Commanders.